everyone, and welcome to Pickens Technical College. We are here today to talk about celebrating our 50 years as an institution. We are so excited to have events through the next few months to honor and recognize the time that we have had with our school, our community, our students. And today we are lucky to have our superintendent from Aurora Public Schools, Rico Munn, present to have a discussion about Pickens' current and past and future. Welcome, Rico.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. Well, Teina, thank you for having me here, and it's great to be here to talk about Pickens and the great work that's happening. I know Pickens is always evolving, always staying current in its work, but are there any specific areas of growth or demand that we're seeing from our community?
So currently, our automotive programs are really amping up. We have about 183 auto technicians, and we're still not meeting the demand of our community and industry. And also health came up bigger and louder during quarantine and during COVID. And so one of the biggest things is around getting their clinicals done. And so lots of need for clinical sites, lots of companies and health industries that are seeking employees and wanting them to get on-the-job training, clinical site time with them so that they can train them to be their specific way of delivering their health information and health skill set. And so those are two of the big ones. And then always welding. We just never have enough space for that. And then education starting to make some noise with the teacher shortage. And so that's one of the pieces that we're kind of really focusing in on, is potentially offering more of a teacher apprenticeship pathway potentially. So stay tuned for that as well. It's in kind of the ground level right now, but we're looking forward to seeing how that pans out for us.
That's great. And you talked about some of the things that are happening right now and making this incredibly relevant. But what are some of the reasons that career and technical education is really in such demand?
It is in demand right now because it's showing up really shiny to have short-term credentials or apprenticeships where students can go get their education at the same time that they're working and being paid. And a lot of that came from just current events of students cannot be full-time students right now. Yeah. They need to be in and out, and if they can be in the workforce at the same time, getting paid for their learning. And apprenticeships are desirable for industry because they need workers. And if they can partner with us, so we do the training and they have them already on property working, it's a win-win for both of us. So we're pretty shiny right now just because we're quick to fulfill workforce needs as well as not take a person away from work to get a new skill or to upskill and reskill to be ready for the workforce.
Well, I like that terminology for you to be shiny right now.
We are shiny. We're very shiny, and even in Colorado Department of Higher Ed, the short-term credentials that we do here, they're really wanting four-year universities to do them, but we're set up already. We can pump them out. We just have high demand for those and can do more. The more space we have, the more of those we can do. And so that is what's kind of making us kind of a hot ticket right now.
Yeah. Well, and not just right now. I mean, we're talking about 50 years of history. So what do you do to make sure that the work at Pickens stays relevant to today's work?
The way that we keep it relevant is it is actually a requirement of an area technical college to have occupational advisory committees so that we hear the voices of the workforce. Right. They come to each of our programs. We meet a minimum of twice a year. They come and they look at our curriculum. They look at our budgets. They look at our equipment. They ensure that we are teaching to the true work and not just educating students on what we think the workforce needs. We make sure that they speak into us at least twice a year and ensure that our equipment matches what industry is actually using. And so there's a continual rotation of curriculum, continual rotation of equipment. And our advisory boards meet with our students. They mentor our students and ensure that they have the workforce skills, to even the essential skills, to know what is expected of you as a person in their workforce, not just the skills, but knowing that you have to be on time, knowing that you have to, just all the workforce ready personality pieces that have to be in place. And so we need our workforce to speak into us to ensure that we're meeting their demands.
And do you get feedback from our alumni to hear about their experience and how your training has prepared them for the jobs that they're in?
We do. We're fortunate to have a lot of them on our advisory boards. And we also have an institutional advisory board that meets twice a year. And we have a lot of our graduates in there. And the one really great thing about Pickens is a lot of our students come back here and become our teachers. Currently, we have 29 of our teachers our alumni. And so we're fortunate to have them speak into us every day, speak into the workforce, and they had to go into the workforce before they could come back and teach. And so they have relevant experience, and they are deeply connected to the industry that they learned here, then went and worked in, and now they're speaking it back to our students.
Well, and that cycle that you're talking about of alumni coming back and becoming teachers and then producing the next generation, that speaks so much to how much Pickens is part of the community.
Yes, we are definitely deeply embedded in the community. We often are told that we're kind of a hidden gem and a best kept secret, but at the same time, we always have a wait list. We always have enrollment, but there's always people who come in that didn't know we exist. And so our best marketing is word of mouth. And so we are fortunate to have students that speak on our behalf, and lots of the workforce also speaks on our behalf. And so we have a really good reputation, and we're really proud of that.
But a hidden shiny gem.
A hidden, very shiny gem. So, Rico, we are really appreciative that we get to be part of Aurora Public Schools. And so one of my wonders is, how do you see us as a great resource and our concurrent enrollment and our CTE? How do we enhance the district as a whole?
Well, Pickens is an incredibly valuable resource. As a district, we talk about our vision is that every student shapes a successful future. And what's key to that is that students and their families decide what that future looks like. And so having incredibly relevant education, workforce-ready education is going to be an opportunity for families and students that Pickens really provides and that Pickens really supports throughout the entire district.
And Rico, tell me, if you were to have a vision for Pickens in the next 5 years, the next 50 years, what do you see as maybe some areas of growth, some space, some opportunities that we could continue to provide to APS, or some new ones that you have in mind?
Yeah, I think there's incredible opportunities for Pickens, particularly given your persistently relevant model. Mm-hmm. We know that our workforce is changing and shifting. We've seen that even prior to COVID, but throughout COVID, it's a really rapidly changing dynamic. And Pickens is set up to respond to that dynamic in a way that is very different than a lot of traditional educational settings. So over the next 5 years, I see you growing a lot of the areas that you've talked about: education, healthcare, growing demands and needs, but also really thinking about how do we deliver that in really innovative ways, and really think about how we expand the reach of the students that we're connecting to so that it's more on demand, so that it's more immediately relevant in the workforce and in the workplace.
I like it. Thank you.
So, Teina, we're here talking about and celebrating the 50th anniversary of Pickens. Yes. I know Pickens likes to throw a good party.
Yes.
But talk to me about how you're celebrating this anniversary, how the community can be involved and really appreciate that.
Okay. So we have a lot of things in the works. One of the things that we're hoping to do is something for the community on property in the spring, maybe a food truck rally with a carnival for kids, and have all of our different programs set up outside or inside so they can come in and experience. Maybe what does it look like to be a welder? What does it look like to do things in the medical field and be outside looking at our automotive opportunities and our vet tech and our horticulture, just to really explore the campus and be celebrating with us at the same time. And then we're going to have some inside events as well. We're going to have some virtual events. And then there's some events that we don't even know yet what those are going to be, but lots of students celebrating and bringing alumni back to also participate, just to show kind of the success of the students who have been here and gone on to do great things.
So you heard it here. We're going to let your children operate large machinery.
Yes. Please watch our social media to see when that's going to happen.
So, Teina, as I've talked a lot about the relevance of Pickens, how Pickens has managed to be relevant and stay relevant for all that time. And that's not an easy thing to do. Talk to us a little bit about the values and the traditions that Pickens was built upon that allows you to be in that space.
Okay. So one of the things that we really are proud of is allowing people to have a fresh start with us, so they can come to us to upskill, reskill, or just start completely over. And so it's a great place to start. And we really get people ready for the workforce. And as the workforce evolves, again, we're fortunate to have our occupational advisory committees and our alumni speak into us to ensure that we are continuing to change our programming, continuing to find out what is needed out in the community. We track data of programs people reach out and say, do you have this or will you have this in the future if it's something that we don't have, or if it's something we have a wait list, we try to find ways to add more space opportunities so that we can expand programming. And so to stay relevant, you really have to listen to your students, listen to your community, listen to the workforce. And we've created great platforms for all those things. And so we have 4 governing boards. We have Aurora Public Schools, which houses us. And then we also have the Colorado Department of Higher Ed, who puts a variety of expectations on us that keeps us relevant and in touch with higher ed. And then also just, again, working with our students to find out what their dreams are made of and being sure that we offer what they want and ensure that the industry also agrees that that's an in-demand opportunity for our students and that they can get placed when they do finish their work here.
And Teina, from the work that I've done over the years, both in higher education and statewide and education issues, I've had the chance to interact with Pickens for 15, 20 years. But for people who haven't been able to see Pickens from all those different angles, talk to some of the work that you do around the state and around the country to really engage with these industries.
Yes. So I am fortunate to be on the Colorado Workforce Development Council, where I get to interact with leaders across the state 3 times a year, where we meet and we talk about workforce demands, we talk about the challenges, we talk about gaps, and we talk about how to fill those gaps. We're the training and education side, and then industry is there to speak on what they need, what might be missing, or to find out things that they have no awareness of. And then we also work through our Council of Occupational Education on our accreditation, which ensures that we go to schools outside of our state to look at the way they are doing their completion placement and licensure and workforce development programming to ensure that we are aware and we're not in a vacuum, and we make sure we look outside of us. I also participate in the Education and Training Circle for the state of Colorado, which brings together leaders in the state as well as training opportunities and training needs, so that we're all sitting together having the conversation, ensuring I know that this training need exists, they know that a training opportunity exists, and then the people who are participating can tell us about their experiences and the things that are a success for them and some gaps that they may have noticed that maybe we can fulfill. So we are out and listening and participating across the state of Colorado and beyond to ensure we are well informed and that we create everything that our students need and our community needs to continue to make the workforce a better place and encourage the students to be prepared and have a great partnership so that we meet all those demands.
And I love how that engagement speaks to a continuous improvement and continuous learning cycle that really benefits the Aurora community.
Yes. All right. One of the things that we're excited about with our 50th anniversary is a scholarship that we are developing for our post-secondary students. It can be for a new incoming student or a student that's currently here continuing their education with us. And we're looking forward to reading all of the applications and essays that are going to come in to tell us how Pickens is changing their life and what their hopes are when they leave our institution to go out and change the world. Well, Rico, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you engaging in conversation with me, asking great questions, giving great information. We're looking forward to this year-long celebration and ensuring the community knows that we've been here for 50 years. We have plans to be here for 50 plus more. And I just appreciate all the support that you give us. And thank you again for coming today.
Well, happy anniversary to you and happy anniversary to all of our Pickens students, alumni, staff, and really it's a celebration for the community. We're so excited that this staple is part of the community and has been for so long.
Yes. Well, thank you. And again, stay tuned for more information. We have lots of celebrating ahead and look forward to all of you coming and celebrating with us.